Hello human beings, today is a beautiful Monday and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be making a video on how I learned French and a little bit about like my history and background with French, just so you can know where I started from and like where I am now, basically. Sorry, I'm really hungry. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about my background with French, starting off with, I did not speak a word of French, basically, about a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago, I did not speak any French whatsoever. So yeah, that is insane to think about because the time has just passed so quickly. I'm going to be telling you a little bit of the tips and tricks that I've used just to be able to get fluent a little bit faster. And yeah, let's get right into it. I'm excited to share with you guys. So, I started learning French in September 2018 when I first moved here. I had done some self-study, and the application that I used before actually moving to France, just to get a little bit of basic conversational phrases and, you know, day-to-day words and vocabulary, I used the application called DUOLINGO, and this is a very well-known app. Basically anyone who's trying to learn a language has this app on their phone. I got about halfway through the course, and after that I kind of felt like I was at a point where I kind of just needed to start speaking the actual language with people who could correct me in order for me to, you know, start getting the accent right and start using like daily slang and like lingo that they have here. Excuse me. That they have here in Paris, because they use different slang depending on which part of France you're in, or depending on which country you're in, because in Canada they use some words that are not used at all in France. I would say I used Duolingo for about 3-4 months, and once I actually got here I used it for a couple more months, and I actually started using like language exchange apps, such as, I've talked about this in like previous videos, but I used one called Tandem. And those really helped me with grammar and spelling because it was text-based. So you would text someone in the language that you're trying to learn, and you would help them with the language that they're trying to learn. So for example, I was speaking to someone who was trying to learn English as their foreign language, and they were a French native speaker, and we exchanged conversation through text, which was really helpful. I think you could even, we did like a few voice messages as well, so we were practicing with the accent, which is pretty cool. But that was the thing that got me started off from the very beginning. The second thing that really helped me improve my French and kind of inspired me and really pushed me to want to learn was listening to French music. My ex, when I was in my first year of college, was French Swiss, and he was constantly listening to French rap music, and I would be hearing it as well because he would listen to it all the time. And it really inspired me because I liked the music, but I did not know what they were saying. So I started listening to those songs, and I started, you know, looking up the translations, and that really just pushed me to start like learning words. And it actually ended up being like a very good thing for me because now I speak a third language, which is really cool. Like, you never know what life is gonna throw at you, and you never know like how things can inspire like other things to happen. Another thing that you can do to really help improve your French and to really get a hold of the accent is to watch French YouTubers. French YouTubers are incredibly funny. I watch one called Cyprien. It's like, it introduces you to the more colloquial colloquial language, more colloquial language. So basically things that you won't learn in your textbook, and more, you know, slang based stuff that you will hear more on the streets and in between young people, the younger generations, which being my age is pretty important, because if you go to a party like or a bar speaking with super formal literature French, people are gonna be like, who is this chick? Another thing that has really helped me is having a French book with me at all times. So whether I am in the metro or I'm sitting on the toilet, I always keep a French book on the head of like the toilet seat, so I can like pull it out and like read a paragraph out loud just to practice my accent. I'm currently reading Nos Étoiles Contraires, which is The Fault in Our Stars, but in French. And this is, I recommend this so much, like not this book in particular, but the concept basically that I'm doing. You should pick a book that you've already read in English or in your native language, and then you should read it but in French, because you already know the basic plot. This is a good tip for beginners. You basically already know the plot, you already know what's happening, so you can kind of, you already know the context of the book, which means that you don't need to know all the vocabulary, which is going to be impossible when you're starting out learning a new language. And obviously the last point that I'm going to be talking about today is au pairing. And without au pairing, I am 100% completely sure that my French would be nowhere near as good as it is today, because I speak French on a daily basis with my host kid. But if you are young and you are thinking about taking a gap year, I've already talked about this in other videos, but au pairing is an incredible idea if you're trying to learn a new language. I would just recommend to have a journal that you write in daily, but in the language that you're trying to learn. So for me, French, of course, like obviously you're not going to have all the words at the beginning to be able to express yourself as you would normally, but you can at least try. And if you get stuck, you always have Google Translate. Like all the modern technology and resources that we have nowadays, use them to your advantage. So don't make any excuses and get out there and start speaking that new language. Yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to mention. I hope everyone that is watching this is having a lovely day, and I will see you guys in the very next video. Bye!